because everyone around, all over YouTube, all over TikTok, people in a real life were saying, "Oh my God, that's a cheap dupe to Baccarat rouge. It's so much alike." No, it's not. Cheap smelling plastic. Hello, beautiful people. My name is Ariana, and I'm talking here about the fragrances that definitely worth your attention. If you like my content, please put a thumbs up, subscribe, and let's move in. I don't know if you like personal stories about the fragrances, but I would like to add this touch in my video. I remember when I first time tried this fragrance, and actually it was a gift for me, and I didn't knew that it was so hyped up by that time, but actually I wasn't that much impressed. And if you already watched my previous video, I said the same things about the Delina fragrance and end up a big fan of it. But Baccarat Rouge 540 doesn't get me that same impression as Delina does. Don't get me wrong, I still think it's a great fragrance, seriously, and it actually sits very well on my skin. When I tried this fragrance for the very first time, I didn't even know that it was so hyped up. I got this as a present and I actually enjoyed it quite. It was unusual to me. My nose wasn't that good at by that time. It was years and years ago when this fragrance was just released on the market. I think maybe just a year after or 2 years after it was released, so the hype was already real by that time. But still, it gave me that interesting impression, and I was quite curious what about this fragrance people find so special. And still, by this time, I think it's kind of a unique combination of the sweetness and saltiness at the same time, but not in some fragrances like we have in other salty fragrances represented on the market. It's definitely something on a very different level, and I really appreciate works of Francisco Jan. I think he's a genius of our nowadays. So to me, this is a cotton candy fragrance with this iodine note, which is not listed, but I definitely feel this in it, this medicinal aspect of the fragrance. And also I quite prominently feel the saffron in there. It's a beautiful, airy, very protecting, long-lasting fragrance, as all you know. And actually, I heard many people in the real life saying that this fragrance is nothing special, very basic, because probably it's already became such a basics of the perfume wardrobe after so many brands released their version of the Baccarat rouge. And still, out there, it's one of the most popular fragrances ever. So let's say I'm not the huge fan of this fragrance, but still I like it. My boyfriend totally hates it and says that it smells like a hospital. I also feel the specific scent of a very clean, sterilized room. But I also think that it's all about our personal experience, also meaning of other people's that can affect our meaning as well, and our personal perception of the scents. And I also already dedicated some time to this fragrance in my video of Maison Francisco Jan fragrances. Check this one out if you haven't seen it yet. So what about then about the extrait de parfum? Because I haven't featured it in my videos before. And I would like to say that I like extrait de parfum way more because to me it's more rounded fragrance. Of course, it's less airy, more grounded, and it has this specific metallic undertone in it. So it's more intense of this weirdness inside, but still it makes the scent very unique. But in general, I cannot pick up the particular notes in it. I don't think that I can even say that there's some almonds which are listed in the notes for sure. But to me, in general, it's more smoother fragrance, and I don't have this experience when it appears and disappears on your skin. As you know, on Baccarat Rouge, it can happen sometimes. So what kind of dupes do we have on the market? So if you find this medicinal note quite annoying for yourself, I offer you to try 100 Silent Ways from Nishane. It definitely has the same sweetness in it, but it's a peachy vanilla with some orange brightness and cleanness, and also it has a bit of white flowers, which makes this fragrance more soft. It has zero medicinal notes in it. It's very well rounded, and it dries down very beautifully as well. And also it has the significant DNA of Nishane. If you already own some fragrances from them, you're definitely gonna recognize it. Or if you don't, it's all about the sweetness from the Baccarat rouge, but on the very soft and delicate and very beautiful level. Then we have Instant Crush from Mancera. Of course, it was intentionally made in the Baccarat rouge direction, and I can kind of feel a lot of similarities in this fragrance. Many people do compare it to Baccarat rouge. For sure, it is it, but with a citrus note. So it's a cotton candy with the citruses, very bright fragrance, but slightly woody and musky. All through in the dry down, I'm kind of feeling it can be quite heavy and stretchy because you know that Montale Mancera significant mask, you definitely had experienced it before if you had one of those fragrances. But if you are on budget, it's a great substitution. The opening and the middle notes are very beautiful in it. So then we have Trajan from Electimuss. I really hope that I pronounce it correctly. In this particular fragrance, ambergris, oak moss, and cedarwood, along with the citruses, ground down the fragrance as well, but it's not that scratchy and unpleasant in a dry down. From the very first notes, you're gonna recognize the significant cotton candy airiness in the fragrance, and it's very likable, it's very beautiful, also quite long lasting. So if you would like to find some substitution to Baccarat rouge without any medicinal note, but maybe more woody, then here we go. One of my favorite one in this selection will be Montale Sensual Instinct. I also seen many people comparing this to Baccarat rouge. It's not that much in that direction of the scent, so you cannot say from the very first sniff that, oh my god, it's the Baccarat. No, but it has some similarities, the sweetness in it, but the prominent note in this fragrance also is rum, which gives a little bit like alcoholic vibe. It's like you're eating sweet candies with liquor inside. To me, it's absolute unisex, very likable by women and men. And it gives you this impression that you're going out for an event, you're dressed up. So you're enjoying your evening, you're having a good drinks, and you are that sweet candy in this evening. To me, it's very seductive and very delicious one. Two more to go. So here I have my Ariana Grande Cloud, which people compare to Baccarat Rouge so often and saying like this is a cheapy dupe to the scent, maybe a little bit coconutty or something like this. I don't get this comparison. I'm very sorry. It's like maybe somewhere in the air, like 15% comparable to Baccarat Rouge. And I actually bought and decided to keep this fragrance only because everyone around, all over YouTube, all over TikTok, people in a real life were saying, oh my god, that's a cheap dip to Baccarat Rouge. It's so much alike. No, it's not. On my skin, it turns out as a cheap body lotion with coconut and very prominent lavender, which is really listed in the notes of this fragrance. I don't know, maybe my fragrance went bad because it's really hot now outside, but seriously, I got it just 1 or 2 months before. And I don't know what to say more about this fragrance. I really don't like it. I cannot find myself wearing it. I don't find also the longevity that good as people describe it. It doesn't last, it doesn't stay on my skin or my clothes. It just goes away in a couple hours. I really don't like it. Period. I probably gonna declare it or give it to someone who really like it, who doesn't find it that cheap smelling plastic. And actually, I was thinking to declutter this fragrance so many times, and probably I was just waiting for this moment to show it in this video and forget it forever because seriously, it doesn't worth that money. it doesn't worth that money to me. It's a cheapie, but still I could put some couple more bucks on top and buy something way more better than this one. I don't like it. But I have a good news for you. For the ones who are comparing Baccarat rouge to Burberry Her, you guys right. You gotta can feel this vibe. And of course, this fragrance was made by Francisco Jarre himself. So of course it has some similarities all through. This fragrance, it's a like a very delicious strawberry milkshake, but I definitely feel not only the creaminess and strawberries in this, I can kind of pick some other berries. And to me, this fragrance is absolutely beautiful. I think it's one of the masterpieces from the designer fragrances. And it's really, really well done. You still can kind of feel that it's not super expensive fragrance and you can get it quite cheap, but it's so beautiful. I seriously can't get enough for this fragrance, and I'm just waiting maybe for a little bit colder times to start wearing it again. I don't know, like if you can see, it's not that much used, but actually I use it very often and I'm enjoying every single second on me. It stays for a very long time. It's very projecting and prominent. It will give you huge amount of compliments. Definitely this year the projection is there. And of course, it's more playful, a little bit more berry, without any medicinal note in it. But it has similarities. It has the similar vibe of the sweetness, like cotton candy sweetness as well in this fragrance. If you like sweet, fruity, slightly lactonic fragrances, this one is for you. And no one gonna tell you that you smell wrong or too much. So that actually it easy like this. My recommendation 10 out of 10, my favorite out of all the range of the dupes I mentioned today. Of course, I also like Sensual Instinct. To me, it's a really nice and interesting fragrance as well. I like 100 Silent Ways as well. But this one, it just stole my heart. I can't stop wearing it. It's very beautiful and it worth every single cent you wasted on it. So if you still haven't got this one for yourself, what are you waiting for? Just go grab it. It's not that pricey. You can always find it somewhere on sales and you're not gonna regret about this one. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please share your opinion in the comments and I will see you in the next one.